Wow. The new era has begun. The new era at Manchester United has officially begun. Darren Fletcher, interim manager. Wow, wow, wow. The new era has officially begun. Ruben Amorim era is officially over. And now, hey, Darren Fletcher taking control of the whole situation. Let's get into this, man. Let's get into all this crazy news coming up about new managers, about everything, man. There's so much going on. There is so much going on. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, there's a Deserby, there's news about Johnny Evans joining something. So there's so much going on. The new era has officially begun. Let's just get into this, man. The Johnny Evans news, the Darren Fletcher, Michael Carrick. There's so much going on, man. So much is going on with Manchester United. The new era has officially begun. And Kobbie Mainoo, he's officially back training with Manchester United, right? Bruno Fernandes as well. So hey, both guys are fully fit training. Let's get into this crazy situation, man.
They were left with no choice, that it was the straw that broke the camel's back ultimately. And the more we're starting to hear about this situation, the more we learn that the seeds were sown a little bit earlier. I started to hear rumblings in and amongst our reporting on Thursday about Enzo Maresca leaving Chelsea. Completely unrelated. People saying to me, you need to have your eyes on Ruben Amorim and Manchester United. It's coming towards an end there. And
so David Ornstein saying, hey, this just didn't come out of nowhere, bro. Man United were talking about sacking him even during Maresca's time. So this is coming from David Ornstein. David Ornstein actually breaking it down and saying, hey, they were planning on sacking this man even when Maresca was there. That situation with Maresca.
I didn't really know how to take that. But within 24 hours, Amorim had given his news conference ahead of the Leeds game. And he had a face like thunder. He didn't want to speak about the formation, which he's spoken about so much in the past. He said they won't be doing any January business. It felt like something had happened prior to that news conference. And we now learn that there was an explosion of sorts, a disagreement between him and Jason Wilcox, the sporting director, over all manner of topics.
And this is what we've been hearing a lot, man. Him, Jason Wilcox, they're going head to head. They were going head to head. Apparently, Jason Wilcox was his biggest supporter, but hey, that was a crazy situation between Ruben and Jason Wilcox. And apparently, Ruben Amorim was the guy actually chasing Mateta, right? And Ruben wanted Mateta, but then the board up and down situations. We also have news about Barada and Wilcox. They called for a meeting with the players. A lot is happening right now, man. A lot is happening right now. Wilcox informed the players that Fletcher would be in charge for the next 2 games. So Darren Fletcher just taking charge. A lot is happening, bro. A lot is happening right now in the past 24 hours. Wilcox having a meeting. Omar Barada and Wilcox having a meeting. The players are involved. Everybody's involved. So we're hearing what David Ornstein is saying right now. They planned on sacking him for a while now, bro. They were planning this for a while.
I'm sure we'll find out more as the days go on. And that kind of laid the foundations for what we saw post Leeds. And I think when you speak like he did at Elland Road about your superiors, your employers, about your job and your club, especially one of this magnitude, it tends, as we saw in the case of Maresca at Chelsea, to only end one way. So it's quite a messy situation, and one that when you reflect on it, his comments, not only now, but over the months, and there have been a number of notable outbursts, you kind of feel that it's maybe not entirely a surprise. And Man United find themselves in this unwanted position yet again. I think they
So
probably felt they were
we're
left
back to
with
square
no
one,
choice.
man.
That it was the
We are back to square one because right now,
I wanted to clarify something. This is not.
we're back to square one at Manchester United, bro. We are back to square one. We've been here before. New era, new evolution. And so much is going on. So much, so much. Darren Fletcher just gonna talk to the media right today. So Darren Fletcher gonna do a press conference, talk to the media, cover everything. And yeah, they had a meeting, so many names on the list. Apparently, Man United, we spoke to the FC Porto manager, right? We spoke to the FC Porto manager. Apparently, he's on the list as well, right? Fulham manager as well, Marco Silva. Apparently, Iraola. So it's too much is going on right now at Man United. Too much is going on. I was gonna drop a video, but there's too much information. Ruben Amorim, he actually walked away with £10 million. So that was the money they gave him for getting sacked, right? And apparently Enzo Maresca is also on the list. This is coming from DiMarzio. So DiMarzio, he's a credible journalist, just like Fabrizio Romano. So let's just get into this crazy, crazy day. Ruben Amorim fired. The Darren Fletcher era starts now.
Similar to what happened with Enzo Maresca. Enzo Maresca decided to leave Chelsea, and so Enzo Maresca decided to leave his contract. That's different. Ruben Amorim, the decision was made by the club. So Ruben Amorim has been sacked by Manchester United. And so Ruben Amorim remains now under contract until 2027 with Manchester United. It means that his salary is still on the accounts of Manchester United, unless there is a club in the next months ready to get Amorim, and so they can negotiate an exit fee for Amorim. But at the moment, Man United will still be paying the salary to Ruben Amorim. It's a club decision, and Ruben Amorim already said yesterday that in his press conference. If you follow that in details, Ruben Amorim went public and said, I will not quit, I'm not leaving this.
And he did just that. He got sacked. Fair play to him, he got his money. You're saying they really have to get things right, right? And you're right, bro. Right now, it's just about getting things right, man. If they get somebody, let's see who they are gonna get. A lot of names. We're also hearing Carlo Ancelotti. They might wait for Thomas Tuchel because they remember when before they got Ruben Amorim, they had a meeting with Thomas Tuchel. He rejected us for England. So many names, and the Johnny Evans could be appointed as Manchester United coaching staff. So Johnny Evans might come back. This is credible news from Laurie Whitwell, David Ornstein's guy. So Johnny Evans, according to Laurie Whitwell, Johnny Evans is gonna be coming back as a coaching staff. So many people are gonna be coming back just to help the situation, help Darren Fletcher. It's a massive, massive day, man. It's a massive, massive day. Yeah, if they do get it wrong, the board is gonna be devastating. I think the next manager we bring in is he needs to pop. He needs to pop. And it was Vivel. Vivel was the man that didn't really like Ruben Amorim. Vivel was the man that he didn't like the way Ruben Amorim was managing Benjamin Sesko, right? We know Ruben didn't want Benjamin Sesko. Vivel was pushing for Benjamin Sesko, right? Ruben, he wanted Ollie Watkins. He wanted an experienced striker, right? Ruben, he didn't want Lamens. He didn't want Benjamin Sesko. So him and Vivel, they had tension, bro. They had tension. Apparently, there was friction between Ruben Amorim and Vivel over the signings and also over the tactics. So it looks like Vivel was micromanaging Ruben Amorim, and that's what made him a bit frustrated. Also, the board, Jason Wilcox telling him to change his formation. Apparently, that also made him extremely, extremely frustrated. And also another story about Amorim and Martinez, right? This is the same guy, Laurie Whitwell, coming out with, hey, Amorim and Martinez, they were squabbling up. Right? Martinez had a burst with Amorim in the training sessions in December, right? December, Martinez thought he was ready to play. We remember the days where Martinez was just on the bench. So according to Laurie Whitwell, he's saying, hey, December, during one of the training sessions, these guys had a burst. They had a hectic face-to-face confrontation. So a lot is happening. And looks like Oli might be coming back. Who knows? Oli Gunnar Solskjaer. I don't know how people feel about that.
Saying, unless the club decide to do something different. And 24 hours later, even less than that, Man United decided to fire the coach. So the Ruben Amorim story is quite clear on that. Then, many questions I'm getting, guys, about the caretaker manager, the interim manager from now to the end of the season. First of all, now there is Darren Fletcher, who will have the opportunity to be on the touchline this week, this midweek, because there is games with midweek in England. And then, in terms of candidates, some of you asked me on a rumor coming from England on an Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Guys, what I can tell you on this story going around in England is that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer would be more than open about joining and returning to Manchester United as caretaker manager.
So the caretaker manager role is open, bro. It is open for anybody. Oli, apparently he's winning the race. Apparently he's open to it. Darren Fletcher is only here for a few games. So Darren Fletcher will be moved on. Apparently Oli or Michael Carrick, those are the two guys that will lead us throughout the season. Let's see what they actually do, bro. Let's actually see what they actually do. We're hearing noise about Ruud van Nistelrooy, but he won't return. So it's genuinely between Oli and Michael Carrick at this point. Oli's open. I think Carrick would be open. And we just need a manager to stabilize us, bring some consistency, and get us top 4, right? Some people saying, okay, go out for an experienced manager right now. But some people are saying, hey, let's not make the mistake we made last season, right? We brought in a permanent manager, and then it didn't end extremely well.
Solskjaer would be happy to help Manchester United again if he can. But at the moment, nothing more than this to report on this story. Nothing has been decided. Still no name for the future Manchester United caretaker manager, and especially the permanent manager, which is the most important part of the story. So let's follow the situation. But at the moment, would Solskjaer be open to join Manchester United? How not, I would say. Of course he would, from what I heard. But at this stage, it's on Man United to decide. And as of now, they've not decided yet what they want to do next. So internal conversations taking place to understand what's going to be the following step after Ruben Amorim.
It's crazy situation, man. I know a lot of fans. There are some fans that are happy. There are some fans that are disappointed. So mixture of feelings between the fan base, bro. Mixture of feelings. There are some fans that are happy, some fans that are frustrated. And we heard the reports of, okay, the outside noise. The outside noise was the thing affecting Ruben Amorim. Let me just play one of the videos before he got sacked, right, of Wayne Rooney. What Wayne Rooney was saying. This was the example of the outside noise, media noise, affecting him mentally, affecting him, because this was coming from a credible journalist. Apparently the outside noise, he told one of his friends that, okay, the outside noise is really affecting me. And this is another video.
He's not Jurgen Klopp. He hasn't got that history or that.
So this is another video of before he got fired, right? This was straight after the game. I think Wayne Rooney made a statement. So Wayne Rooney came out to just criticize Ruben Amorim. And reports are saying videos like this, they got to him, right? They got to him mentally. They affected him mentally. Ex-players criticizing him. Gary Neville, Wayne Rooney, post goals criticizing him. Apparently videos like this, criticism like this, they got to Ruben Amorim.
Not Jurgen Klopp. He hasn't got that history or that background, so I don't think he should be speaking with that authority.
So this is what some other BBC podcasts Wayne Rooney's on. So he made some massive statements. Let me just get it right, man. I don't know what's going on. Yeah.
I think after the Wolves game, he did lose a lot of hope and confidence from the fans. And I think he's probably felt that as well going into this game at Leeds. I think he just made it clear for us. He's like, look, I've got 18 more months.
Well, I don't think he'll have 18 more months if it carries on. So I think that's fair to say.
I think he's trying to get himself.
But I think you need to earn the right. You need to earn the right to to be able to dictate exactly what happens at a football club, especially.
So this was after Ruben Amorim's press conference where he says, "Hey, do your job, this and that."
A football club like Man United, and if Guardiola comes into Manchester United, for instance, I don't think anyone would question what players he wants to bring in, or the system. And I feel for him a little bit, but he's not Pep Guardiola. He's not Jurgen Klopp. He hasn't got that history or that background, so I don't think he should be speaking with that authority in what he is. And
So
I just think the words he's saying are very confusing to me.
So he's saying Wayne Rooney made it clear. So he's saying, hey, Ruben Amorim, after that press conference, you shouldn't be speaking like that. You shouldn't be calling the board out like that. So according to reports, videos like this, they got to him mentally, bro. They got to him mentally. They got to him psychologically. So reports are saying videos like this, the pressure from the media, the pressure from everybody, it got to Ruben Amorim. So crazy, because it's a job. It's one of the hardest jobs, man. Being Manchester United manager is probably the hardest job because one, you have to do so many interviews. Two, the pressure, but the pressure comes with it. So I genuinely believe the next manager just has to be a guy that can cope with everything, man. Cope with the pressure, cope with the players, and cope with the media, bro. Apparently, we're also looking at somebody like Carlo, but that might not happen. The main guy running is Oliver Glasner. Would Oliver Glasner succeed at Man United? He has the capabilities, bro. He genuinely does have the capabilities of succeeding. But let's see Oliver Glasner with some of our players, the egos, the big names. Would he be able to cope? I think he can, but you can never predict with these things, bro. You can never ever predict with these things. Darren Fletcher, we know the man is ready to take us forward. All right. Apparently, Darren Fletcher, he's spoken to Michael Carrick. Apparently, he's spoken to Michael Carrick. He wants Michael Carrick to just join him for 1 or 2 games. According to reports, Michael Carrick was in the training session as well, right? Michael Carrick is taking operations of some of the training session, according to like some of the reports. So Carrick, I have a feeling that they just might make Michael Carrick the main guy, the main interim boss. Maybe it'll be Oli. We heard Fabrizio Romano. Oli wants the job, but it's not guaranteed. It's not permanent right now. It's probably a Michael Carrick situation, bro. It's probably gonna be a Michael Carrick after Darren Fletcher does 1 or 2 games. Michael Carrick, we saw what he did with Middlesbrough, bro. He was cooking. He was genuinely cooking. But looks like Man United were back to where we were like a year ago, right? When we fired Eric Ten Hag, and now it's back to this moment, man. I think a lot of fans were now used to this. We're now used to this, firing a manager, getting a new one. It's like deja vu right now. It's like deja vu right now. Let's just hope Omar Barada, I think this is the season he needs to start performing, man, because if he doesn't, fans are already losing patience. He's already let us down. I've already lost hope with Sir Jim Ratcliffe because Sir Jim, he's too up and down as an owner. I never trusted him from day one. And also reports were saying, hey, Sir Jim Ratcliffe, he's the guy that pulled the trigger, bro. He is the guy that pulled the trigger on Ruben Amorim. He said, okay, Ruben, he felt disrespected after Ruben's press conference. And he said, nah, he's done, right? So Jim Ratcliffe, he's the guy that pulled the trigger. He's the guy that told Omar, nah, end his contract. This man is done. Look for another manager. So Sir Jim is the man that was mostly furious about what Ruben Amorim says. And it is what it is, man. It is what it is. New manager. Let's just hope for the best. Let's just hope for something amazing. Back to square one. Back to square one. Looks like De Zerbi is another candidate, man. With like all the candidates are amazing, bro. All the candidates look amazing. Xavi, De Zerbi, Thomas Tuchel, Glasner, they look amazing. But will they succeed, bro? Because every time we sign a manager, they come in with hype, bro. Every manager we've signed has come in with hype, come in with a lot of expectations. Every manager we sign has come in, people expecting them to perform, people expecting them to win. So there's no manager that we've appointed so far that has come in and nobody expected them to win, nobody expected them to perform. Everybody has been hyped up, right? People are hyping up Ruben Amorim, people are hyping up Jose Mourinho. So it's just a question of whether these guys will succeed or not, bro. It's just a question of whether these guys will succeed or not right now. Keep it simple, keep it calm, right? The interim manager, just try your best to get top four. Overall, according to reports, they wanted to keep him until the end of the season, but the comments he made it harder, bro. So Ruben Amorim, it is what it is, bro. It is what it is. The man was actually smiling. Let me put that video again, man. The man was actually smiling after getting sacked, after getting terminated from Manchester United. Fair play to him, right? You still have to smile, man. You still have to smile, but overall, Ruben Amorim, he's tenure at Man United. I don't think we had some great moments, right? I don't think we had a lot of it. It was more bad moments, losing games here and there, losing the Europa League here and there. But hey, the man went out smiling, right? Great to see a smile from Ruben Amorim. The man went out smiling. The man went out with a smile on his face. Let me put this on the screen. The man was genuinely happy, man, with a smile on his face. Ruben Amorim went out smiling. Ruben Amorim.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, man. Yeah, all the best.
Him and his wife just smiling after getting sacked. So he was in good spirits, bro. He was in good spirits, but apparently he told the people close to him that he wasn't planning on getting sacked, right? Obviously, he wanted to stay. He wanted to be successful. I think no man wants to genuinely get sacked like that, but you can see the smile on his face, man. You can see the smile on his face. Ruben Amorim leaving with a smile, leaving with 10 million in the bank. So even with the shades, the man is, he's not gonna regret anything, bro. He's not gonna regret anything. The man leaving with a smile, leaving with the shades, leaving with 10 million, bro. So he's literally living right now. He's literally living. So I don't think getting sacked will bother him. Apparently, Celtic are a team that are willing to take the risk with Ruben Amorim, so he's gonna find a job just now, bro. I think by in 2 seasons, Ruben Amorim will be managing another team. So, interesting, man. Interesting. All round, I just think the evolution of Man United, that's what we should be just focusing on. The next manager, he needs to succeed. The next manager, you need to back him as well. Although Ruben Amorim was failing, right? We see the situation, man. Midfield, it can improve. A lot of positions can improve. So Man United, we let him down a bit, bro. We let him down a bit. Morning, bro. Morning, bro. Hey. Amorim sacked. It's game over. Let me also get the video of Gary Neville, man. Gary Neville making it clear, bro. Making it clear of how he genuinely felt about the situation. Wayne Rooney, obviously, he's not gonna miss Ruben. I've seen videos of post goals actually saying, hey, Man United should give Roy Keane the chance to become the permanent manager of Man United. I don't think that should be the way, right? I don't know what Post goes is saying. Maybe I don't want to take that risk, right? With Roy Keane becoming the permanent manager. Obviously, Post goes, he's gonna shout out his guy Roy Keane. Roy Keane should become the new manager, this and that. But I don't think Roy Keane would be. Apparently, Post goes wants Roy Keane or Thomas Tuchel as the new manager. So I don't think any of these guys are the perfect fit, right? Thomas Tuchel waiting until England are done. Let's just get a manager that maybe Thomas Tuchel, because he did well at Chelsea. He won the Champions League, but Roy Keane, I don't know, man. I don't know about Roy Keane, right? Obviously, Paul Scholes, he's going to hype up his boy. He's going to hype up his guy. So, Ruben, man, a smile on his face. Even though it didn't work out, right? I lost faith in the man towards the end. Like the results were not there, but I wish him good luck, man. I wish him good luck. I hope he succeeds in his next job. Obviously, as a man, he just wants to be performing. He just wants to be doing his thing. And overall, no man wants to get sacked. I'm coming. Overall, no man wants to genuinely get sacked, man. So with Ruben, good luck to him, man. Good luck to him. But yeah, Darren Fletcher gonna speak. He's gonna speak in like 2-3 hours. Gonna do a press conference. His first press conference for Manchester United. Hopefully, we just get the justifications. I know a lot of fans are upset, bro. I know a lot of fans are upset that, okay, Ruben Amorim, he got sacked. I know a lot of fans really liked Ruben Amorim as a person. They really liked his personality and they thought, okay, Ruben Amorim was going to be the guy, right? I know a lot of fans are genuinely upset about this situation, but overall, we should just keep it simple as a club, right? Keep it simple. Let's support the next manager, regardless of whether you're upset or not. Let's support the next guy, bro. Let's support the next guy. Let's hope the next guy is supported. But the main thing, the main mindset should be, hey, Manchester United, let's go against the Glazers, bro. The Glazers are the main problem, man. The Glazers at Manchester United are really the main problem. So Jim Ratcliffe as well, he's the main problem. I think the board as well, they are the main problem. Fans, we shouldn't go on I know discussing managers and players, it's important, bro. It is important, but the main issue at Man United are the people on top, man. Over 10 years, still the same situation. There's only one common denominator. So let me just play a bit of what Gary Neville had to say and then discuss.
Yeah, look, when a manager is sacked at any level, and obviously I'm a part owner in a football club, it was to poor reflection upon everybody. It means it's not worked. It means the decision making all the way through has not been successful. It means the manager hasn't won enough football matches, and that ultimately everybody loses. Particularly when you're sacking a manager part way through a season, it's very difficult to get an adequate replacement in. Manchester United have been here before. And they're in a challenging position again. But I am surprised that it's happened this morning. I'm not surprised that it's happened.
So he's saying, I'm surprised that it's happened now, but I'm not surprised that it's actually happened. And we know that Gary Neville, him and Ruben Amorim, they were going back and forth, right? Gary Neville calling Ruben Amorim an idiot, and then Ruben Amorim telling Gary Neville, hey, you weren't really successful as a manager. So they had their back and forths. But great to see Gary Neville. He looks disappointed or something.
I think that I didn't realise it would happen so quickly. I think the last week or so, some of the press conferences that we've seen, it usually only ends one way. But I did think that they would get through another couple of weeks, try and work out what to do. But obviously, it's become that challenging internally that they decided to do it very quickly, which was a shock this morning at 10 o'clock when I heard the news.
Yeah, just on the timeline, I mean, the acceleration of this decision seems to stem from this meeting that we talk about on Friday between Jason Wilcox and Amorim. Now, we've been told that United's bosses felt that his response at that meeting was very negative and emotional, and then we saw the post-match comments at Leeds. Do you feel like his position had simply become untenable?
Look, if there was a meeting on Friday morning about the performance against Wolves, between the sporting director and the manager, I'd actually been disappointed if there wasn't a meeting after the Wolves performance. I think as a sporting director of a football club or an owner of a football club, you should be entitled to go and speak to a manager when the team have played like they have against Wolves, and basically Wolves have picked up a point at Old Trafford, only the third of the season. It seems to me that in the last week, Ruben Amorim has decided that he basically doesn't feel supported or he doesn't feel happy. He's called it on. He's obviously in press conference.
And that's another situation where the fans were complaining. Okay, these guys, the three guys, Sir Jim, Omar Barada, Jason Wilcox, they weren't really supporting the manager, right? Hopefully they support the next guy that's coming in, right? You know that, okay, you've brought in a back three manager, but you don't want to back him with what, fullbacks, things like that. So I think these three men are the main problem, man. These three men are the main problem. Less of Jason Wilcox, but Omar Barada, Sir Jim Ratcliffe, I think they've let us down massively. Jason Wilcox, he's done some great things, bringing in Aiden Heaven, bringing in some good young talents, right? We can see the good young talents that are coming through, but overall, not a lot from Omar Barada, not a lot from Sir Jim Ratcliffe.
Decided to unleash at times and sort of be emotional and do what he does, which I think has always been honest. He's always done it with integrity. You always felt he was speaking from the heart. We always enjoyed his press conferences. But the reality of it is, when you turn on your bosses, doesn't matter whether you're at a football club or you work in Morrison's, if you turn on your bosses, you're not going to keep your job very long.
Nah, bro. Bruno and Kobbie Mainoo are back. They are back training, bro. They are back on the grass. And it's kind of ironic, bro. It's kind of ironic that they return when the manager gets sacked.
So for me, the meeting between sort of Jason Wilcox and Ruben Amorim that took place after the Wolves game, that absolutely would take place in every single football club. You know, if Salford City had a game that they lost or drew that was bad, there would be a conversation between the sporting department and the manager, just like there would be from the manager to the sporting department if we weren't getting our targets in the January transfer window. These are conversations that have to happen. There has to be a level of honesty that occurs when there are disappointing performances coming. And look, over the last 5 or 6 weeks, I've done probably every United game apart from the Leeds game and the Crystal Palace one away. And I actually complimented United when I think they've looked like they've performed well against Bournemouth when they drew 4-4, when they lost at Villa, which was a disappointing result, but I thought there was something in the performance. But some of the performances in the last month, if you look at the Everton game, losing to 10 men when, to be fair, Ruben Amorim kept 3 at the back against 1, whilst they were basically trying to chase a goal against 10 men Everton. The performance against West Ham, everyone's beating West Ham. Manchester United drew with West Ham at home, and to be fair, West Ham could have got more out of the game. Everyone's beating Wolves. Manchester United drew against Wolves. So if you look at some of the performances in the last month, they've really been shocking. However, there have been some bright spots along the way. I actually thought against Leeds, I thought it was a decent performance. I thought it was a good point, and I thought that he could have handled it differently after the game in the press conference, but he didn't. But this Wolves game seems to me be like the killer game. It was a bad one, that.
So it looks like Gary Neville thinks it wasn't the Leeds game, it was the Wolves game that genuinely was the end of Ruben Amorim, but I don't think that's the case. I think the case is, okay, so Jim Ratcliffe, he was upset with the comments of Ruben Amorim in his press conference and just pulled the plug, right? According to reports, they were planning to keep him until the end of the season. They were planning to keep him until a guy like Glasner was available. But hey, let's see, man. I think fans, let's just back the next manager. Hopefully the next manager is a top level manager. And we experienced this under Ineos last season. I think by Friday, we'll know who the permanent manager is. I think by Friday, they'll have an agreement that, okay, the permanent manager will come at the end of the season. We'll know who the caretaker manager is. So by Friday, I think everything will be done and dusted, because we saw the situation with Ineos when they fired Erik ten Hag, bro. They fired Erik ten Hag, but then they were talking to Ruben Amorim while he was still on the job, right? While he was still working.
You touched on this, Gary, but his reluctance to move away from 3 at the back seems to have also been a factor. Was this a failure on his part to adapt, or actually is the reality of it the quality and quantity of players at his disposal?
Look, to be fair to Ruben Amorim, I think when he was offered the job, he said, no, I'd prefer to take it in the summer when you can adapt to my system and you can recruit towards it. He did say that, but then I think Manchester United said sort of like it's now or never. And the lure of Manchester United and being the manager is something that's difficult to turn down. But he did call this out on the way in. I actually thought that Manchester United would adapt a lot better to the 3 than they did do. I'm really stunned that over the period of the sort of time that Ruben Amorim has been at the club, that they've continued to play so poorly in that system. Now, I get it; it's a difficult system. Wing backs are challenging. It's not a role that basically young full backs growing up. They don't play wing backs growing up. anymore in Europe. Similarly, those two positions that are in behind the centre forward, they're difficult positions because you have to be in the pockets and then you have to run through and then you have to be out to defend sometimes and chase back with the fullback of the opposition team. So there are some quite specialist positions within the system that Ruben Amorim plays, the centre backs obviously as well. But I can't believe how badly they have adapted to it and how inconsistent they've been with it. That's a failing upon the manager. It's a failing upon the coach. It's a failing upon the manager. It's a failing upon the players, and it's a failing upon the club in terms of not recruiting properly for it. However, thinking about this morning and travelling down to London at 10 o'clock, and I was thinking about what managers have been appointed at the club over the last 10, 12 years. Louis van Gaal had his own philosophy. Jose Mourinho plays a certain style of football. So does David Moyes. Erik ten Hag, again, a very different style of football, very positional.
And Gary Neville is right about this. Like a lot of the managers were appointing different styles, different formations, different this, different that. But I think under Ineos, let's see if Ineos have a plan. Let's see if Omar Barada has a plan, because when he came to Manchester United, he said, hey, in 3 years, we're going to be challenging for the league, right? 1 year down, 2 years to go. So the man was talking, bro. The man was talking, Omar Barada. In 3 years, we're going to be challenging for the league. In 3 years, we're going to be doing this. We're going to be doing that. So 1 year down, and we've actually declined, right? We've declined from the Glazers. 1 year, over a year of Sir Jim and Ineos, but we've gone backwards. We've gone backwards from the Glazers. The Glazers at least were seeing some trophies, but now with Sir Jim, we've just gone backwards.
Different to what Manchester United ordinarily would play. Ruben Amorim, a very different style of football than Manchester United would ordinarily expect. I think the experiments have got to stop. Manchester United, and I'm not being Manchester United, look at us, this is what we do, but there is a very good video, I think you can get it online, it's one that's been floating around for about 15 years, that Bobby Charlton talks about what Manchester United is as a football club. And I've always been very proud of what that club is. Adventurous, exciting football, playing young players, entertaining the crowd, those fans that pay to come in, that are basically looking for some relief from their job at a weekend and want their entertaining Saturday. Manchester United must take risks and be courageous and play with attacking, aggressive football. There is a brilliant video from Bobby Charlton describing that. Manchester United have got to appoint a manager that fits the DNA of their football club. Ajax will never change for anybody. Barcelona will never change for anybody. I don't believe Manchester United should change for anybody. They should play the way in which they play. And these managers that have come in are fantastic managers. Van Gaal, Jose Mourinho, Erik ten Hag, Ruben Amorim, they're brilliant coaches. You can't say they're not good coaches, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but they've all come in with different ideas, different styles of play, different philosophies, and none of them really fit the Manchester United way. So for me,
and he's right about that, bro. Gary Neville is genuinely right about that. Like, hey, you need a manager that fits Manchester United. And I think the perfect guy with the Man United DNA is probably Xavi. Xavi, he's got that Man United DNA. He's going to play good football. He's going to promote academy players. I think he's literally a young Sir Alex Ferguson, Xavi.
The club have to find a manager now who's got experience, who's willing to play fast, entertaining, attacking, aggressive football. Simple as that.
Who is that, though, Gary? Because, look, Darren Fletcher coming in, interim charge, he knows what success is at the club, and this is a sensible decision for now. But what about long term? And what about until the end of the season? Is it best for Darren Fletcher to see it out until then?
I don't know. I don't know, genuinely. I could sit here and say that Darren Fletcher will be great to the end of the season. They could go and get beat by Burnley on Wednesday night. I could sit here and say Darren Fletcher's not the right man and they could go and be the most free they've ever been in their lives and beat Burnley 5-0. I think we really have to see how it adapts in the next few days. I do think Darren will need, Fletcher will need someone in alongside him with experience if he's going to take it to the end of the season. For me, it feels like Manchester United before appointed Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and sort of short-term contract and it went really well. There was a big boost at the club. They then appointed Ralph Rangnick on a short-term contract and it was an absolute disaster. So we've experienced both things. If they can get the right man out of the club that fits the sort of criteria that I mentioned before, they should try and appoint someone full-time. If they can't...
I don't agree with that. From Gary Neville, he's saying, hey, if they can get the right man from within the club, let's say Darren Fletcher does well, he's saying we should appoint him permanently. I don't agree with that, man. I don't agree with that. I think, okay, caretaker manager, just make them the caretaker, right? Don't appoint him just because he had a good season or he performed. Obviously, it's harsh for me to say this. Okay, yeah, a man performs and then you don't give him the full-time job, but bro, it can be chaotic like that. Just stick to a plan. Okay, this guy's the caretaker manager, and then we get a permanent manager again.
They're going to have to try and find some form of experienced interim that'll do the job for the next 5 or 6 months.
Who do you think, though, Gary, the person you described, who is that for you? Who's going to work as the next head coach in this club's setup?
I'll be honest, I think it would be wrong of me to name it. Look, there are coaches that I like. I like Tuchel. I like Simeone at Atletico Madrid. I like Valverde. I think Valverde's a fantastic coach. But are they really opportunities for Manchester United to go and get these coaches? I don't know. I have no idea. But the most important thing is that Manchester United scouting department, recruitment department, sporting director have got their eyes open and basically have been seeing this coming over the last few months and have basically got an idea of what they need to do next and that they're going to come up with that quite quickly. You know, it's been a real struggle for the last 10 or 12 years for all these good managers and coaches that have come to Old Trafford to try and get the results that the club demand. And can't keep getting it wrong. We've got to get it right at some point.
He's absolutely right, man. He's absolutely right, Gary Neville. The next decision defines Manchester United, bro. If we fail again with the next manager, then it's gonna be devastating. It's gonna be devastating for every fan. It's gonna be devastating for Man United. Man. Enjoy work, bro. But it's gonna be devastating for everybody, bro. It's gonna be genuinely devastating. And hopefully we can succeed. Hopefully we can find our our pattern, bro. Find some success with the next manager.
Do you think, Gary, that the title manager is now redundant in the Premier League? And in terms of Amorim, you know, you touched on this about his press conferences. It's been 14 months of sound bites. Do you think he gave his opinion a bit too much? Was he too honest?
No, I'm not going to say that because I think a manager who comes into a press conference, look, I think if he was probably being guided by PR specialists and communication specialists, they'd say that he's too emotional. He speaks too much and he gives to the media far too much. But we're in the media. We get bored to death every single week by people not giving us good lines in interviews. So why should we? I don't think we should be the ones that complain when a manager comes in and gives his all. And to be fair, he's honest and authentic and wears his heart on his sleeve. It wouldn't be perfect PR and comms sort of strategy. But on the other hand, for us in the media, I think we have to welcome it. Look, I don't think it's been sound bites from Ruben Amorim. I think he's meant every single word that he said. I think that is a real, genuine, honest guy. I don't think he's someone who's playing the game like you see some managers do when they come and do interviews and you feel like they're sort of coming out with cliches. That guy never came out with cliches. He was absolutely all in every time he did an interview. I thought he was fantastic at times and would have wanted him to really see him succeed. But what I will say is, if the performances are that poor and the results are so poor, it doesn't matter how likeable you are, how honest you are, how much integrity you've got, you're going to get sacked at a club like Manchester United.
What about the players, Gary? Bruno Fernandes, we've seen he's turned down opportunities to leave the club. Is there any danger that he may have a change of heart now?
That's not a factor into it. I mean, I don't care about that today. I mean,
yeah, true. Right now, it's not really about Bruno Fernandes. I think right now, it's just about stabilizing as a club. Let's see the next manager they bring in. Let's see the next guy they actually bring in. And this is when we judge Omar Barada and Sir Jim, right? This is how we judge them. The next manager will be important, right? Because the next manager will determine whether these guys are successful or not.
I think Bruno Fernandes has been sensational for Manchester United. He's under contract. You know, he's always given his all, similar to Ruben Amorim has. I think he's someone who's performed brilliantly over 5, 6, 7 years at the club. So I think he's the least of Manchester United's concerns. I think the major concerns for United is to try and get De Ligt and Maguire back as quickly as possible. I'm not quite sure what's happened to them. To get Mainoo back fit, to get the lads back from AFCON, obviously when they're knocked out of the ton or they win it, and try and get as many good players out on that pitch as possible. Because I do think this league this year is below average. I do think this Manchester United team are still in a position whereby they can get into the Champions League. They need an experienced coach who knows how to get them over the line. And Manchester United do need to return to a back four with wide players who can go and basically attack with width. I'm surprised the back three didn't work. I was actually quite excited by seeing it come into play because I didn't think we had a great back four. But having watched us play a back four the other week in one of the home games, I can't remember which one it was now, there's been that many over Christmas, but they were really good when they played it, when Dorgu played on the right wing and it was Dallow and Shaw at left back and right back. I just felt it looked like it belonged again. And I think that ultimately now they need to go back to that. They pretty much will, I think. I can't believe Darren Fletcher's going to go with the back three at Burnley on Wednesday night. He's going to go with the back four with probably 2 midfield players and a number 10 striker and 2 wide players.
So looks like, hey, Darren Fletcher has a plan, man. Darren Fletcher hopefully wins the games he's in charge of. He's gonna speak just now. Darren Fletcher is gonna speak just now. So he's gonna do like a back four, and he's gonna keep it simple. Darren Fletcher, he's gonna keep it simple. Some people are saying he might play one of his children, right? The Fletcher brothers in the midfield. We'll see what genuinely happens. But overall, Darren Fletcher, he's a guy that can get some wins, man. He's the guy that can get some wins. I think he can win against Burnley. For sure, he can win against Burnley. Just keep it simple. Keep the formation basic. Let's hope. I think the players will play for Darren Fletcher. The players are gonna genuinely go out there just to play for him and perform for him. But overall, crazy few days, man. Crazy few days for Man United. We draw against Leeds. The manager does a press conference. Then he gets sacked. And now Darren Fletcher is the main man. Darren Fletcher is the main gaffer for Man United. So let's see how all this genuinely develops, because it's been a crazy few days for Man United, man. It's been a crazy few days for Man United, and hopefully we can at least just build some consistency, right? Build some consistency when the new caretaker manager, whether it's Ollie, whether it's Michael Carrick, the guy that comes after Darren Fletcher, just perform, man. Just perform. That should be the mindset. But overall, nothing to really complain about, man. Nothing to really complain about. It is what it is. Darren Fletcher, hopefully he wins against Burnley. Just wanted to touch down on everything, man. Everything. I played the Fabrizio Romano video. I played the video of David Ornstein just talking about the whole situation. Fabrizio Romano talking about everything else. So much has gone on, man. So much has gone on, and the conflict between the board, everybody, right? Ruben Amorim, apparently he wanted Mateta. We know that, Silva, he's on the list. Marco Silva is on the list. Iraola is on the list, but the guy that's leading the race to become permanent Manchester United manager is Glasner. So crazy, man, crazy. And also something I forgot to touch down on. Apparently the Glazer family, these guys wanted Ruben Amorim sacked during August, right? After that Europa League final, the Glazers wanted Amorim sacked. They wanted him fired, but then Sir Jim, Omar Barada, they kept him longer. So that was conflict between, Sir Jim and the Glazers. Sir Jim wanted to keep Ruben, but then after that Europa League final, the Glazers wanted the man out. But hopefully everybody enjoys their day, man. Darren Fletcher about to speak. He's gonna do his press conference. Let's see what he's gonna say, but hopefully everybody just enjoys their day. Hopefully Darren Fletcher is successful, the interim manager is successful, and the permanent manager hopefully comes in and he is successful, man. We just want Man United